this one did. So it all has to do with how you, it has to do with perspective. How do you view what you're in? And so I teach people to see it differently. See what you're in differently. See what's happening to you differently. What has happened to you, the things you've come through, your rearing, all of that. See it differently. And once you can see it differently, it helps your mind get free from it. And eventually your body will be free from it. You'll come out of it if you can get your mind out of it.
So let's say you haven't had such a great past. You've had some disappointments, and let's see, speaking from a perspective of a student, they may have not had the ideal situation while they were growing up. If they were to think of something differently and want to see past events in a different light, what would be an example of what they could do? My idea would be like they could look at their past tribulations or problems as how they've transgressed those, and see it as a type of empowerment, where they can get their strength from past events that may not have been ideal for them. What's another way, or is there another example so they can be a little more concrete on how to grasp maybe past events and see them as in a different light? Yes. How can they?
First of all, let me start here. You have to write a vision for yourself. Like I began by asking all of you, what were your plans after high school? You have to have a vision. Once you set a vision, once you give yourself a goal, then now everything in your life is set on that track to achieve that goal. And what you do is you look at everything that has happened to you or is happening to you that can be a hindrance to you reaching that goal. And you can, and it goes back to what I just said to you. It's perspective. Do you allow what you see or what has happened to stop you, to impede your progress, or do you use it as motivation? Use it as motivation to overcome what has happened or what is going on, and that becomes a driving force. Motivation is a powerful tool. If you get motivation, for what you're going after, it within itself can drive you to accomplish whatever it is you're going after.
I want to bring up another author that we did get to visit. It's called Life After Death, the title.
Okay.
And it's Mr. Eccles. Can't think of his first name, but it's he had spent 18 years in prison. He was wrongly accused for the death of some boys, young boys, and he was stuck there. And when you were mentioning about problems and overcoming problems, that would be a huge hurdle, a long-term type of problem. So in what ways would with this type of strategies from your chapters of your book, would that help someone that might be seeing something that feels like they won't see the end of the tunnel? Do you have anything that addresses like long-term type of problems that don't seem to be able to break out of?
Faith. Faith is a hope base. It's what gives you hope. What you believe is largely key to you reaching whatever goal it is you set for yourself. You have to believe, and it all registers from that one word, faith. As a little boy, growing up, I've been in a situation that was abusive. I was in an abusive situation. My father abused me. My brothers, we had a very hard upbringing. He reared us the way his father reared him. He didn't see it as doing anything wrong or being mean. It's what he thought was good parenting. When I became a man and had my own children, I had to make up my mind that I did not want to do the same thing to my children that my father did to me. The things that I saw in him, that I saw as a negative, I could not rehearse those things because in my mind, if I do the same thing he did, then I'm just as bad as he was. So what did I have to do? I had to find a way to rise above those challenges because it's innate. Because I'm his son, same DNA, it's innate, it's in me. So, but I had to find a way to not let the bad blood or be seen in me. And so I wanted my children to see a better man, a better father. And so I used what I saw in him as a stepping stone. The things he did to me, I used that to learn from him. And so again, it's the same principle. I lifted my mind above what happened to me, my experiences, my past, and I determined my own future. Yes.
Like, I was gonna ask you, what were the obstacles you had to overcome? You already said that. Who are some of your influences, like, in your life, like maybe like your wife or your kids? Like, who influenced you to, rise above everything?
First of all, God. And then, and like I said, I've been a pastor for 20 years. And so I've always been one that my friends will come to for advice. In high school, I didn't want to be the one, but I would always end up being the one. I played football. I would end up being, captain. Played in the band. I would end up being section leader. I was in the choir. I ended up being the choir president. Everything drove me to the front. I didn't want the front because honestly, I'm a tad bit bashful, just a little bit. But situations would drive me to the front because life has a way of bringing out of you what's in you. There's a chapter in here where I deal with the abused box. It has to do with the outside, the body, not being really who you are. I'm looking at you and I see you, but you are not your physicality. The real you is on the inside of you. And what I had to learn with everything that I come through was that was not me. I grew up in bad neighborhoods and experimented with things that I should not have. And one day that was about to get me down until I got this revelation. That's not who I am. And when I was able to raise above that mentally, I was able to see myself for who I really am. Because the gift or the treasure or the real you is on the inside of you. And so the box, if I gave you a gift right now and said Merry Christmas, and the gift is pretty, it's packaged, it has a bow on it, and I say Merry Christmas and I give it to you, it's worth nothing until you open it up and find out what's on the inside of it. The real value of it is what's on the inside of it. And so it's really not what happens to you physically, it's really what's on the inside of you. And so we have to spend time reading, learning, challenging ourselves, stretching ourselves to make the real us better. Any other questions?
Like, how is it different for you since you do a lot of counseling, but usually it's always someone in front of you, where you're speaking to them and they respond back. How is it different for you instead of speaking to them, you're writing it out when there's not really nobody responding?
It was actually easier. It was easier because it was free flow. No interruptions, no facial expressions, it was free flow. And I actually enjoy writing. I enjoy writing more than I do speaking. Because when I'm writing, oftentimes I'm in another world, so to speak. And I'm in like certain chapters, chapter 8 particularly, I feel as though I'm writing to individuals, not a large group or people at large. I feel like I'm speaking to individuals, and so it becomes, in that sense, prophetic. But it's just free flow, and I don't get the interruptions or anything like that, and I'm just able to really pour out of my heart what I'm feeling or what I'm sensing, what I've experienced, and I'm sharing, from my experiences. So it's a lot easier. Yes.
What's one of the best things that's come out of you writing? One of the best things you can say that's come out of it?
Testimonies. Hearing how it's changed people. Hearing how people are better. How it's helped them think better on another wise. If you turn on the news every day, there's some negativity that can build fear in you. Cause you to see the world in a different light. And when I get testimonies about how my writings have positively affected someone or changed their life, it's worth it. It's worth all the time and effort because it takes a lot of time to research and write. It's worth all of it. A lot of time where I wanted to be with my family, maybe they're going to the movies. I'd stay and write and complete the work. It's worth all of that. You know.
You're finding that you're reaching more people because you've written all these books,
Oh,
rather
definitely.
than as opposed to speaking?
Definitely. It opens. I got a chance to meet you. You know, I got a chance to meet all of you. It opens up doors for me to meet new people, and that's what this life is about. You know, I'm glad that I have had the opportunity to meet you all before I leave this place and go to heaven. Hopefully that won't be anytime soon, but but I'm glad that I was able. It was divinely inspired, and divine intervention to interrupt my life and to bring you all into it on this day, and I'm grateful for that. You know. And so, yes, it's opened up doors for me to meet new people. I meet a ton of people just through my ministry, you know, pastoring. But, you know, this is another forum, and it allows me to meet other people and, you know, people from different backgrounds and so forth and so on. So it's wonderful in that regard.
As a motivational speaker, have you ever had a really hard time when you actually like bawl and like, you know, just like don't know what to do?
Yes. Because I certainly believe that you can't write a book that you've not experienced. And I believe that a book is literally a written expression of what you have lived personally. And everything that you read out of this book is something that is the result of my life's work, everything that I've come through, everything that I've learned, my experiences, and all of us, we're a combination of everyone's knowledge. You know, this is a wealth, a plethora of information that if we read all of these books, what makes us wiser, what makes us smarter, what makes us better human beings is the benefit of each one's experiences. You know, you all are a gift to each other. Sometimes you can take it for granted. I know that because I've been through high school already, and looking back at it, I know what I've learned. Sometimes when you're in it, you can't really catch the treasure of it. Sometimes it's when you get out of it and look back at it, you realize, oh man, what a gift that was. And I can tell you now, since I've been through it, you're only at a place where it's a treasure. You are treasure to each other, and you really sometimes may not even realize it. But to be able to talk to each other from your various experiences, to be able to talk to each other from your different backgrounds and things you've been through, you will surprise each other, you know, if you really open up to each other. And that's what we are in this world in general. In this world at large, we are gift one to the other. Oftentimes we take that for granted. Oftentimes we don't see it, but it is so. We're treasuring one to the other.